Okay, so yesterday Clay and I watched Mothra versus Godzilla, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of just as surprised as you are that we finally got around to watching the next movie. So that's four down, and I don't know, I think like 28 to go, 35 to go. There's a lot of these things, but we got another one down, and I'll be honest, I had a pretty good time with this one. The basic plot is there is a giant egg that ends up being found. I think it's like washed up on shore somewhere, and there's some journalists doing some investigation into it, and one of the guys on the journalist team is just always trying to eat like a hard-boiled egg. It's just this recurring gag throughout the movie, and I don't know why I thought it was so funny, but it was just really funny to me. And there's these businessmen who end up buying the egg from the locals in the area, and they want to use it as the centerpiece of like their new theme park. It was called like Happy Enterprises or something like that. They're trying to make, I guess, kind of their own like Disneyland with the egg. Like I said, it's kind of their centerpiece. And I thought like the evil businessmen throughout the movie were very entertaining. There is a part where the two of them just start fighting, and this dude like gets his ass beat, and then his partner just starts taking all the money, so he pulls out a gun and he shoots the dude. It gets him in one shot. It was a really good shot. And then it doesn't matter because they get stalked up by Godzilla. Put a pin in oh god, I can't wait to talk about Godzilla in this movie. So there's these two women, like these two very small, like that tall-ish twins that are from, I think it was called Infant Island, which is the island where Mothra comes from. The egg is a Mothra egg. They talk about how Mothra has her very own circle of life where, she will be alive. She'll be alive and then she'll be dead. Which sounds like less of a circle and just more of a straight line. But how when one Mothra dies, the other will hatch from the egg. And so Mothra is not immortal, but she's almost kind of immortal. I don't know necessarily if she, like the spirit is being reincarnated, or if Mothra is more of, I guess it's like, is Mothra an individual who gets reincarnated, or is Mothra more of a species? And when one Mothra dies, another Mothra is born. I'm not a hundo on that. I don't know if I'll ever really find out. Maybe I need to watch the like Mothra Rebirth trilogy. I've heard the third one's really good. It's like one of the best versions of King Ghidorah or some shit, which is the next movie, and I'm so excited to watch Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. But they're like, hey, that's Mothra's egg. Give it back. Give it back. And the journalists want to help. The Happy Enterprises guys are like, we made our money. I mean, do you want to sell us the two short women? Like, we make a pretty penny off them too. And that's the conflict for a good chunk of it, and then eventually Godzilla wakes up. This version of Godzilla is so funny because he's just an oaf. He's just a lummox. He's so clumsy. And I'm like, the whole movie, like, I think Godzilla's just drunk. Like, when he's walking around and destroying shit, like, you watch the original Gojira, and you can feel the malevolence and the malice. Like, it's not just, I'm a big dude, and when I'm galumphing around, I accidentally destroy shit. He is intentionally destroying. No, in this one, it's just, he's so big. There's a scene where he turns his body, his tail hits something, and it startles him, and he's just like, and it just shoots his atomic breath on some shit. Not because he's like, I hate this building, die, just because he scared himself by hitting his tail. There's another thing he just knocks over with his tail. One of the funniest scenes in the movie is Godzilla's just walking, and he slips down an incline, and then there's like a big old building. And so how it probably looks to a lot of the characters in the movie is like, look at Godzilla, like he's grabbing on the side of the building and he's just ripping it down. What an asshole. I'm like, no, he slipped and he's trying to regain his balance, but he's so clumsy and so strong, and the infrastructure of this place, God bless it, was not designed with Godzilla in mind. So as he's trying to regain his balance, he just tears the whole thing down. there's a part where he's fighting Mothra, and Mothra just grabs him by his tail and just starts dragging it. And Godzilla's just like doing this, like trying to get away. He's just swimming in the sand. The funniest scene in the movie to me, by far though, is during the fight. There's a part where Godzilla just like tries to kick her, and he misses her. He misses Mothra with such like vigor that he just falls over and knocks himself out. As like Godzilla literally got Charlie Brown, but Lucy didn't move the football, he just missed. And it's gold. Like during his fight with Mothra, he just gets his ass kicked. It didn't even look like he got a few good licks in. It just, Mothra loses the fight because like, oh yeah, this Mothra, it's her time to die. Like when she left the island, it was her time to go. But you know, there's the egg and it's gonna hatch. We'll get a new Mothra, and then you get these twin larvae, and the larvae fight Godzilla by kind of using guerrilla warfare. One will just kind of poke out and use string shot, and then Godzilla tries to smack it. One he just starts beating the shit out of with his tail, which is really funny. But it's like string shot, dodge the atomic breath, string shot, until they get him in a big cocoon, and then he falls over into the water, and that was the second fight. The second fight is not great. The first fight is a lot of fun, but you were just watching Godzilla job the entire movie. There is this one scene, it's like when Mothra first flies in, and you get this zoom in Godzilla's face. And there's a part of me that goes, okay, you know, he sees another monster, it's time for a territory war, you know, he's trying to hype himself up, like I can see, like, the menace and the rage, and that's kind of cool. The other part of my brain went, dude, Godzilla looks high as fuck right now as he's looking at Mothra. That is not a, so you're approaching me. That's a, dude, I'm seeing a giant flying butterfly. What is going on with me today? Like, they're trying to slow him down with electricity. Like, he walked into some wiring, gets zapped, and he just rips it down, still pissed off about what happened with Kong. They just start dropping electric nets on him at one point. It's fun. It's pretty fun. I find the journalists, like the human characters, are likable enough. I think our Happy Land executives are actually really fun when they get to be in the movie. Like I said, I feel like your enjoyment of this movie probably comes down to Godzilla. If you want to see Godzilla be really strong, imposing, and kicking ass, I think this one's kind of disappointing. But if you can just get into the fact that Godzilla's just really drunk, and he's kind of not taking the movie seriously, the movie's really, really entertaining. There's also this bit when the journalists are on Infant Island. It was like, okay, Godzilla's running amok. Maybe we can ask Mothra for help. And they go, and I believe this was an island where there was a lot of atomic testing done. So you see a lot of, like, dinosaur bones and skeletons. And I thought that was kind of neat. The way the locals refer to atomic, like, radiation and bombs, they call it the Devil's Fire. I don't know. I thought that was actually, like that's a pretty metal way to refer to bombs. I kind of like Devil's Fire. And that's really all I have to say about this one. I would say it's definitely better than Godzilla Raids Again. Although, I don't know if there's a scene in this movie I enjoyed more than, like, the destruction of Osaka Castle. Like, I just like, the whole, like, Godzilla Raids Again is not good. But that one scene, I was like, this is really cool. This is some, like, top-tier Godzilla destruction. Because while there is fun Godzilla destruction in this movie, it's more goofy than just, like, no, this is, like, this dude is still scary. I think the fight between Godzilla and Kong, for me, is more fun than the fight between Godzilla and Mothra, mostly because both of them get their licks in, and there's a lot of funny, goofy shit. But I think this was probably a better movie overall, and Gojira is still the best of the four I have seen. We'll see if Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster... excuse me. We'll see if that one is able to like challenge that for the top spot so far. I don't know when we'll watch it. Hopefully soon, but we'll see. And then I'll let you know what I thought of it.